My twin brother got the college fund while I got debt. The morning I found the papers scattered across Dad's desk, I thought he was reviewing financial aid documents for both of us. Senior year was wrapping up, and Ethan and I had been accepted to our first choice schools. Same GPA, same SAT scores, same work ethic. We'd always been treated equally, or so I believed until I saw my name crossed out on the college fund disbursement form. Only Ethan's signature line remained. $180,000 earmarked exclusively for him, while my college future got a handwritten note that simply said, student loans available. My hands shook as I photographed the documents with my phone. 23 years of contributions to what Mom and Dad called the Kids Education Fund had been quietly rerouted to my brother alone. The account statements showed systematic transfers over the past 6 months, moving money from a joint education account into one bearing only Ethan's name. Every birthday check from grandparents, every holiday gift marked for college, had apparently become his private windfall while I faced a lifetime of debt. I confronted Dad that evening as he sat watching the news. He barely looked up when I placed the photocopied papers on his lap, but his jaw tightened when he realized what I'd found. He tried to explain it as a practical decision based on Ethan's major in engineering versus my choice to study art history. His voice stayed level, almost bored, as he outlined how Ethan's degree would generate more income, and therefore justify the investment. My education was characterized as a luxury they couldn't afford for both children. The casual cruelty of his reasoning hit me like a physical blow. He spoke about return on investment and market value as if we were commodities instead of his children. When I asked why they never discussed this decision with me, he shrugged and said they assumed I'd understand the economic reality. Ethan needed the money more than I did because his future contributions to society would be more significant. My throat felt raw as I tried to process hearing my own father dismiss my worth so casually. Ethan found me crying in my room an hour later, having overheard the conversation through the thin walls, but instead of the horror I expected to see on his face, he looked uncomfortable, like someone caught in a lie. He sat on my bed and admitted he'd known about the fund redistribution for months. Our parents had sworn him to secrecy, explaining they didn't want to hurt my feelings until after graduation. The money was already committed to his first 2 years of tuition at Penn State Engineering. My twin brother, my closest friend for 18 years, had watched me stress about college costs while knowing he had full funding secured. He'd participated in conversations about student loan options and work-study programs, nodding sympathetically as I worried about graduating with crushing debt. The betrayal felt worse than my parents' favoritism because Ethan had been my ally in everything. We'd shared clothes, friends, secrets, and dreams. Now I learned he'd been protecting his financial advantage while letting me believe we faced the same uncertain future. Mom finally admitted the truth when I threatened to expose the situation to our extended family. She revealed that Dad had always favored sons over daughters, viewing male children as better investments in the family's long-term financial stability. She'd initially fought against the fund reallocation, but Dad had worn her down with arguments about practicality and traditional gender roles. He believed engineering would guarantee Ethan a stable career, while art history would lead me to dependence on a future husband anyway. The conversation revealed layers of sexism I'd never noticed in our household dynamics. Dad had always encouraged Ethan's STEM interests while treating my academic achievements as nice but ultimately decorative. He'd praised my brother's mechanical aptitude while dismissing my artistic talents as hobbies rather than potential career paths. Looking back through this new lens, I could see years of subtle messaging that positioned Ethan as the family's future while relegating me to supportive roles. I called Aunt Rebecca that night, Dad's sister who had always been supportive of my artistic pursuits. She listened to my story with growing anger, then revealed information that changed everything. She told me about the inheritance from Dad's mother that had funded the original college account, money specifically designated for both grandchildren's education. Grandma's will had explicitly stated the funds should be divided equally between any grandchildren, regardless of gender or career choice. Aunt Rebecca drove over the next morning with a copy of Grandma's will that she'd kept in her safety deposit box. The legal language was clear and unambiguous about equal distribution of educational funds. Dad had violated the terms of his mother's bequest by redirecting money that legally belonged to both Ethan and me. She explained that this constituted theft of inheritance and gave me grounds for legal action if I wanted to pursue it. My stomach churned as I realized my own father had stolen money meant for my education. We called the family lawyer, Uncle Jerome, who had handled Grandma's estate 7 years ago. He remembered the specific provisions about educational funding and was shocked to learn about the fund reallocation. He explained that Dad's actions violated both the will's terms and state inheritance laws. Jerome offered to write a formal letter demanding immediate correction of the fund distribution, warning that failure to comply would result in legal action for inheritance theft and breach of fiduciary duty. The lawyer's letter arrived at our house on a Friday morning, delivered by certified mail while I was at school. I came home to find both parents waiting in the living room with expressions I'd never seen before. Full story is linked below or on my channel.